and welcome back to Charlie Bella Munchkins. So today I'm looking at parenting with SEN. It can be really hard. No one ever said that this parenting stuff's easy, but then no one said quite how hard, quite how lonely it can be when you're parenting a child with SEN. It can be hard because, you see, especially the more you see other children their age, the more the difference becomes quite obvious. As I say on the blog post drop in, I knew quite early on that Munchkin wasn't quite developing typically. I'd worked in early years for 8 years before I'd had him. I'd worked with a lot of children, all across the under fives, but I'd worked with lots of typically developing children and also lots of children who needed extra support, needed things put in place. And sometimes you just know, you just have a bit of a gut feeling going, this isn't quite right. It was probably when he was around 1, taking him to a toddler group, which we didn't end up going to too many because partly COVID and partly the ones around us were actually quite pricey by the time you added it up each week. So I took him to a toddler group. All the other children were happy, engaged, running around the room, playing with the toys. So Munchkin was a bit like, not too sure what's going on, and sort of hanging back a bit. So we took sort of a slow look around the room, and then he noticed the trains, and the trains were set up with a station house, and it was like, great, something that he can play with that. While the other children were playing with the trains, Munchkin sat and he just opened and closed the doors of the station for 45 minutes straight. Happily engaged, happy in his own little world, but just one of those moments when you were like, yeah, that's not quite typical development. Not many, not quite 1-year-olds will sit engaged for 45 minutes, and particularly not playing with the thing that's not supposed to be the fun part of the toy. It's meant to be the trains or the putting the track together. But for Munchkin, it was the doors, and that's just sort of summed up Munch. He's such a happy little person. He's got a really infectious giggle. He's kind and gentle, obsessed with Formula One. I cannot tell you how many times we have watched Silverstone since the race was on, and every time when Hamilton crosses that line, he gets so excited, like it's the first time he's seen it. He loves Bluey, loves a bit of Hey Dougie, loves Tiny Wonders. He's suddenly discovered Tiny Wonders and is enthralled by it. And Rara and Sweet Potato, yeah. Rara and Sweet Potato, likes a bit of that in the morning to chill his brain out. He loves his maths, loves counting. Spent quite a bit of time over the weekend just lining up cars and counting them up to 8. Using his own version of the numbers, but he uses them consistently, so you know exactly what he's trying to say with each one. And you see it, and these moments, you see these moments where you see his absolute potential, and then you have moments when your heart just breaks for him. When this morning, I don't know what was up. He was just really, really agitated about something. And doesn't have the words to tell us, doesn't have the signs to tell us, just sort of shows us through his repeated motions, or repetitive, restrictive movements, as they call them, that something just wasn't right. But when you try to work through it and you try to figure out what it wants and what is frustrating him, but he's getting more frustrated because you can't figure it out and he can't figure out how to tell you how to figure it out. Those moments are really hard. Or moments when, like, his friends say hi to him in the line at school and he just sort of stares through them because social skills aren't really there yet. But then we have other moments like picking him up and said, "You can say bye to your teacher," and he turned, looked towards her and waved, which was really, really lovely moment. Moments where they say now he's actually seeking out others at school. He's looking for his friends. He's got 2 friends in particular, and they're very different personalities, but he seeks them out depending on what he needs. Or moments when he seeks out his younger brother, especially if we're at the park and he wants to play with him on the swings, and he'll go running up to him, grab him by the hand, and give him sort of a little tug by the hand to try and get him to come over and play on the swings. So you see these moments where he's made so much progress, but even with the progress he's made, he's still got a significant delay. And I guess it's for people who don't see him that often, they'll go, "Oh, he's made so much progress." And you're like, yeah, that's he has. But we're looking at, the incremental progress. We're looking at like the baby steps that we're taking. We're not expecting miracles overnight, He's made a lot of progress where he is. He's probably made a bigger leap socially than he's ever made, which is amazing. Something that I feel really proud of him for. And then our milestones look a bit different. Children with SEN, there's extra things get put in place like in nurseries and schools, but as parents, you celebrate the little wins. We celebrate the fact that he waved to his teacher to say bye. Celebrate when we get out of the house for school without a meltdown. When he's able to communicate what he wants and is really proud of himself for it. So they may, and to most people they might not sound big things, but to him, it's massive. They're really massive things that he's achieving. It's just really hard watching your child struggle and knowing that there's not really much you can do, because a lot of our job at the moment is just waiting for the next appointment, waiting for the official diagnosis, and just supporting him the best we can in the meantime. He's still our awesome little dude with a crazy sense of humour and either tons of energy or he just crashes like his batteries are run out. But yeah. Alright, so join us next week. Bye.